When you first start home educating, both you and your children are going to have to adjust to learning at home. And if you don't navigate that transition well, it can ruin everyone's experience of home ed, leaving you frustrated and your kids not wanting to learn. Hi, I'm Adam, Brain-Based Dad. I started being home educated 30 years ago, and it took me 2 years after leaving school before I really wanted to start learning again. In this video, I'm going to explain exactly what this transition is, how to transition to home education so that your kids will be ready to learn at home, and I'll explain how long the transition should take you. If you get value from this video, please give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe if you haven't already done that. If you've decided to make the transition from school to home education, it's because for one reason or another, the school system wasn't working for you. Maybe your kids were unhappy, or you saw their behaviour change, or you were just tired of the pressure that school puts on kids. Parents who are new to home ed often think that to home educate, they need to set up a homeschool classroom, find the perfect curriculum, plan your weekly timetable, or set your goals for the year. But honestly, none of that is important. In fact, it can actually be detrimental to transitioning to learning at home. The last thing that you should be doing when you start home educating is recreating school at home. If you recreate school at home, you're also likely to create school problems. Look, I know school is familiar, it's what we all know, but you chose home education for a reason, and by trying to replicate school at home, you risk ending up with the same frustrations and disengagement that made you leave school in the first place. Your home is not a classroom, nor should it be. Instead, you have the opportunity to embrace the freedom to learn in ways that actually work for your kids. So the first thing that you should do when you start home educating is what's known as deschooling. Deschooling is the process of getting school out of your system, freeing yourself from the structure, the rigidity, and the institutional mindset of school as you move into the freedom and flexibility of home education. When kids come out of school, especially if they've been to school for a while, they've spent so many years being told where to go and what to do and how to do it that they often have no idea what they're actually interested in themselves, or are so completely disconnected with their natural desire to learn as a result of their experience in school that they don't want to learn anything. You know, that's what happened to me. I was so tired of being told what to do and if I was good enough that I didn't want to learn anything at all. Deschooling allows kids to readjust to learning without being told exactly what to do every moment. When we're born, we naturally learn. We watch what people around us are doing. They're walking, they're talking, they're playing with a phone, and we automatically want to do the same things because if everyone else is doing it, it must be important. So we learn how to walk and we learn how to talk and we learn how to use a phone. You know, some walk first, some talk first. We don't make a big deal of the order that they do it in. We just watch it unfold and we watch it with wonder and fascination. Deschooling is the process that lets kids get back to that natural desire to learn. And once they've deschooled, they'll be ready to learn for themselves again without needing to be told. So how do you actually deschool so that you rekindle their natural desire to learn? Well, deschooling is really simple. It's so simple, in fact, that you might not like it. You know, if you imagine a child playing in the woods, happily exploring, learning about nature, but suddenly a bear jumps out from behind a tree, and in that instant, all learning stops. A switch in their brain gets flipped from learn to survive. The child's brain switches into fight or flight mode. They get focused solely on survival, and learning isn't important until the danger is gone. Once the danger has passed and they're absolutely sure the bear has really gone, then and only then can they get back to happily exploring and learning. You see, for the brain to be in a state when it's ready and eager to learn, it needs to feel safe. If a child feels stressed or anxious or unsafe in any way, their brain won't want to learn. You might think there are no bears in our daily life, and that's true. But the brain doesn't distinguish between a bear and any other danger. A danger is a danger is a danger. And any perceived danger, whether it's life-threatening or not, will provoke the same fight or flight response. And when it comes to getting school out of their system, there are two big dangers that have a grip on them. So let's take a look at each of those dangers and the deschooling solutions to them. To understand the first danger, we have to talk about play. The way kids, and in fact all mammals, learn is through play. But play isn't just about having fun, although that's certainly a part of it. Play is actually the brain's way of exploring and experimenting and making sense of the world around us. It's how we develop problem-solving skills and creativity and social intelligence by judging how far can we push something. When children play, they're not just passing time. They're actively and intently engaged in the most effective form of learning possible. They're following their curiosity and they're testing hypotheses and they're building neural connections at an incredible rate. But here's the thing. Play has to be genuinely self-directed to have these benefits. The moment play becomes structured or goal-oriented by adults, it loses a lot of its power as a learning tool. And this is where a lot of well-meaning parents and teachers go wrong. They try to make learning fun by gamifying lessons or creating educational activities, but true play, the kind that ignites the child's desire to learn, it can't be engineered or controlled from the outside. Not being in control of your own life, always being told what to do and how to spend your time, is threatening to the brain. The first step in deschooling is to give your children autonomy. You actually have to step back and allow for more unstructured time where children are free to explore what's of interest to them. You have to let them do what they want. If they want to do nothing, let them do nothing. If they want to spend all day reading, spend all day reading. If they want to play games, play games. If they want to ride their bike all day, go do that. This doesn't mean that they get to be in charge of everything that your family does, but they have to regain a sense of control over their life and how they spend their time. And this might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to directing your child's learning. You might worry that they're not learning anything, but their brains are hard at work, and even if it looks like they're just messing around. When children have the freedom to choose what they do and how they spend their time, they become more invested in what they're doing. Autonomy fosters a sense of ownership over their learning and allows them to engage deeply with their interests and their passions. And by giving them this freedom, you're not only rekindling their natural desire to learn, but it's also empowering them to become lifelong learners. Now, I've talked in previous videos about how school itself triggers a stress response. Aside from the actual day-to-day stresses of school, when we send our kids to school at 5 years old, or even earlier if they've been sent to nursery or kindergarten, something else becomes threatened. We see that fight or flight response when children cry at the school gates and have tantrums or refuse to go, or even have meltdowns at the end of the day when they come out of school. Teachers say things like,
"Oh, don't worry, it's normal, they'll settle in, they'll adjust."
So you send them anyway, day after day. But what you're seeing in their behaviour is a fracture in what's known as a secure parental attachment. Parental attachment is all about the emotional bond and connection that you have with your child, which plays a huge role in how secure they feel and how confident they are as they grow up. When they have a secure parental attachment, we are the safety net that helps them explore the world. And when we send them to school, the person that they feel safest with is no longer around to protect them. In fact, they're spending most of their waking hours without you. This separation from their primary caregiver can create background anxiety that never fully goes away. It's like that bear is always just lurking out of sight, keeping your child's brain on high alert. And in this ongoing stress, real deep learning becomes nearly impossible. They might memorize facts for a test, but they're not really able to fully engage in that same curious, joyful learning that leads to real understanding and growth. And this is the second key to unschooling. By restoring and strengthening your attachment with your child, you can literally change their brain. So how do you do this? Spend time together, but do it without an agenda. Certainly not a learning agenda. Or even better, do it on their terms. Do what they want you to do. If they want you to play a game, do that. If they want you to watch TV with them, watch TV with them. Spend some quality time with them. Go on outings together. Reconnect with your child through shared experiences. Explore new places together, from local parks to farmers markets to wherever. Create memorable moments. Stay up late to go stargazing or go on an impromptu drive through winding country lanes. These shared adventures not only strengthen your bond, but also provide rich, organic learning opportunities. You want to engage with what your child is actually interested in. When they express a curiosity about a topic, it's because it's interesting to them. So dive in with them. If they're fascinated by dinosaurs, explore paleontology together. If they love music, listen to their music, introduce them to your favorite music, or learn an instrument with them. But by engaging with them in this way, you're not just validating their interests and nurturing their love of learning, you're actually validating them as a person. It sends a really powerful message. You're loved and accepted exactly as you are. When children feel this deep acceptance, their brains relax into a state of safety that's really primed for that natural learning. Be their parent, not their teacher. And again, this might feel counterintuitive, especially if you're worried about their education. You might think,
if I don't push them, they won't learn. They'll fall behind.
But the opposite is true. When a child feels secure in their attachment to you, their natural curiosity and desire to learn is actually going to flourish. Remember, a stressed brain can't learn effectively, but a brain that feels safe and secure, that brain's primed for learning. Learning isn't just about what they study. It's about creating the right conditions for learning to happen naturally and joyfully, and that begins with the brain feeling safe. And for that to happen, they first need to have autonomy and control over their learning, because being in control is safer than being out of control. And that needs to be built on a foundation of secure parental attachment. When children experience that they have control and agency over their life, and that they are okay, they're safe, loved, appreciated exactly as they are, their brain will be ready to learn. You're probably wondering, how long do we need to do this deschooling thing? There's no one-size-fits-all answer. It really depends on how stressed their brain is. But a good rule of thumb is about 1 month for every year that the kid was in school. If they were in school for 6 years, aim for about 6 months of deschooling. But it's not an exact science. Some kids might need more time, others less. The key is to watch your child and follow their lead. You'll know you're done when they start showing a genuine curiosity about new topics. If they start asking to learn specific things, that's a good sign. If they seem happier and more relaxed overall. Remember, deschooling isn't doing nothing. It's about giving your child the space to rediscover their love for learning. So don't rush it. The time you invest in deschooling will pay off big time when your child's ready to learn on their own terms. Ultimately, you should think of deschooling as a lifelong process, especially for parents. Deschooling isn't just for kids. It's critical for parents as well, perhaps even more so. It's essential to recognize that you too need to get the school mindset out of your system. This means unlearning all of the ingrained conventional ideas about what education looks like. And the best way to do that is to learn about unschooling. So watch this video next to find out about that. If you've gotten value out of this, please give the video a thumbs up and remember to subscribe if you haven't already done that.